So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Sarah. I'm the face behind this Instagram account, Pure People Nutri, and within the Pure People doTERRA Facebook group, I think you'll all know me. I live in Brighton in the UK. I've been a nutritionist for around 10 years, and I've been very passionate about living a natural, healthy, chemical-free lifestyle for a long time now. And as part of that, essential oils have always featured. I used to just use them. I used to put them in a burner. I used to use them to make my room smell nice. I would put them in the bath, and I would maybe put a drop on my pillow, and that's pretty much where it ended. And to be honest, that's all I thought that you could do with essential oils. You know, I just saw them as something that would make that was a useful support for fragrance, really. And then I was introduced to doTERRA oils 5 years ago, and I was absolutely blown away by how, when you have a pure oil, and how this opens up all the different ways that you can use an oil. You can actually use it as a complement or replacement, if you choose, to your medicine cabinet when you feel appropriate to do so. I was blown away, and I haven't looked back, and my life has not been the same since, both in terms of the health and the life that I get to live with my family, but also with my business, because I decided to integrate doTERRA into my business as well. So I've seen a lot of abundance, both in health and happiness, and also through financial abundance as well, because doTERRA is now the thing that is the main source of income for me in my home. So tonight we're going to be talking, as I said, about 10 core oils, but we're also going to be talking about, why is it that we might want to use something natural in the first place? What is the kind of the state of the healthcare system at the moment? And we'll talk a bit about safety. We'll talk about different ways that you can use an oil, and I'll be kind of briefly going through 10 core oils. Like I said, this little box here, this is my core 10. They come in this little starter set, and they can be used to do 300 things in the home. And I'm going to be covering each one and just giving you a little bit of information on how to use them, and also how to get them at the end should you want to. If you don't already have them, I can see a few people watching tonight are people that already have these in their home, and obviously this class is lovely just to kind of learn a bit more about essential oils as well. So moving on then, so doTERRA has a kind of a wellness chart where there's certain lifestyle factors that we can actually, by the way we eat, we move our body, we manage our stress and our sleep, and we also think about the toxins coming into our home and our bodies through what we clean with and what we put on our skin. We can control all these factors or influence these factors by some of the decisions that we make in terms of the way that we live our life. And just have a think about those core areas, and perhaps focus in on one that you feel would make the biggest improvement in your life if you could address, because I'm going to be basically suggesting different oils and products that could support these and help you up level in these areas. So I'll just name them again. Eating, so thinking about not just food, but also hydration, so mainly water, and also supplementation goes into that. Movement, so exercising pretty much, and different ways that you're moving your body, so it could be dance or walking. Rest and managing stress, and reducing toxic load, so that's thinking about cleaning products and personal care products. So the healthcare system, I said that we would just touch on this first. So it is called a healthcare system, but for me, don't know about you, but it doesn't massively feel like a healthcare system. I would like to see more emphasis on education around staying well. And, there's trillions of pounds put into our healthcare system, more than ever. And I think you'll probably agree that we have a higher rate of chronic health conditions than we ever have. So something somewhere is awry. And whilst I'm grateful for the NHS, and yeah, if I was to have something acute going on with myself or my family, you know, I'm very grateful to have it. But I do feel that there's a place to try something natural in the first instance, very often, again, as long as you feel it's appropriate to do so. So medications sometimes are needed, but often, you know, are not, and they do have a certain amount of you know, there's going to be a situation where we have toxic load building up, and also often we take one thing and then that creates a symptom, and we have to go back and get something else for that new symptom, and then before we know it, you know, you're somebody that's suddenly on a cocktail of medications. So the thing is with pharmaceuticals is they're never going to address the reason why somebody was sick in the first place. So what we're ideally looking to do is address the root cause, and we can do this by using natural things. Essential oils, because they're supporting body systems, glands, helping to balance neurotransmitters, those brain chemicals. If we're using an oil consistently over time, we can definitely see improvements in our health. So 3 cool things that I wanted to mention that would be great if, you know, they're kind of like your takeaways, the easy things to remember, is that first thing is that essential oils are safe. So as long as we're kind of following guidelines. So I always say to people, you know, with a box of oils and a reference book, Modern Essentials is my favorite. You can also get this on an app. You're completely covered, because, you know, you can use essential oils on yourself or your family, and you know that this book has been written by aromatherapists and other professionals, and it's actually quite conservative, so you know, you can be nice and safe and feel confident in using your oils. So yeah, they're effective and they're safe, and you know, but with doTERRA, one of the things I'm going to talk about is how pure they are. And I think what we need to remember is, historically, when we were talking, when oils have been kind of in our subconscious, if you like, what we need to remember is that, you know, those oils that we've always heard about are actually on the whole synthetic, or at least in part synthetic. And that's why perhaps we've heard things like, you know, you must never ever use an essential oil neat on your skin. You must never ever have a drop of an oil in a glass of water or take it internally. And whilst we still need to be cautious and understand what we can and can't do, and the safety around it, you know, with a pure oil, we actually can do some of those things with some oils. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. So they're in the plants to support the plant. So if you ever wondered, you know, why are they out there, essential oils, in the first place? They're actually supporting the plant. They might be supporting the plant for things like reproduction, or protecting the plant from damage or disease or pests. So this is why we can kind of get the similar kind of benefits, because they're actually there doing a function for the plant. And what's quite interesting is we are carbon-based living things, as are plants, and that's why we can kind of tap into the same benefits. They also have the ability, some oils, to get through into our cells. So if just 10 seconds of biology for a second. This is your cell. Cells have an oily layer. Medications, water-based. Most things can't get in because they will get repelled by the oily layer. Essential oils are lipid-based. They're oil-based and have the potential to penetrate this oily cell wall, and therefore can get into the cell. Some. What's quite interesting and topical at the moment is that viruses live in cells. So that is an exciting place for us to be right now, because it kind of opens up how we can look after our bodies with essential oil and natural medicine. And also they're very strong, and this is a good thing. You know, this means that we can, you know, really start to see inroads in our health and our wellness. So just to give you an idea, if I was to get my peppermint oil out of this box here, peppermint oil actually has it's really, really beautiful. It's very strong, it's very uplifting, and if you can actually have a cup of peppermint oil tea with this. So you could put 1 drop of peppermint oil in the bottom of a mug, fill it half up with cold, rest up with boiling water, and you will have a beautiful cup of your peppermint oil tea. However, it's much stronger than your regular peppermint tea that you might make with herbs or a tea bag. You'd have to have about 28 cups, would you believe, to actually get the same effects or benefit or strength as your 1 drop. So that just gives you an idea of, you know, how much more bang you're getting for your buck, if you like. You know, from a drop of peppermint oil is 7p, a drop of lemon oil, you know, people like to have a glass of lemon water in the morning. 1 drop of lemon oil is 4p. So they're very affordable and they're very effective as well. So the safety and the purity of the oils is important to mention, because there's not many oils out there for a start that are pure. What we know is about 80% of essential oils out there are not pure. Okay, so 80%, the majority of oils are not pure, and there are no one regulating essential oils in the world. So pretty much anyone can put anything they want in a bottle, mark it 100% pure, and there's nobody out there telling people that they can't do that, which is shocking, right? I was super shocked when I found this out. So what doTERRA did when they came into the marketplace 12 years ago is they created their own standard. It's called Certified Pure Tested Grade. It's CPTG for short, and you'll see it written on the bottles. And this is doTERRA's kind of attempt to bring in a standard of purity. And they do lots of testing, and they go to great lengths to ensure that their oils are pure. Very sophisticated tests, and they're very, very knowledgeable about what to look for, because outside of, you know, pure essential oils, there's a bit of a murky industry of you know, adulteration of oils and oils being sold off. You know, sometimes we get oils that are sold as one thing when they're actually another, like a cheaper oil, or there's lots of carrier oil in there and it's not disclosed, or sometimes it's completely synthetic. So doTERRA do all this testing to make sure that the oils are very pure, but then they have it validated by a third-party testing company. So you can go check out more about that on our website called sourcetoyou.com if you're interested, okay? If you've recently joined, it would be lovely to have you say hello, and just let me know where you're joining from, and let me know if you're somebody that already uses essential oils, and tell me what your favorite oil is and how you use it. I'd really love to hear that. Okay, so we've talked about effectiveness, we've talked about safety. Okay, and I'm just going on to the next slide. We've talked about that, you know, that they're effective. So doTERRA do something called co-impact sourcing. So these days people care deeply about where things come from, and they want to know the story behind the product. They want to know that people aren't being discriminated against, that people are being treated fairly. And doTERRA go to extraordinary lengths. Actually, they do more than that. They base their whole business model around supporting the most people in the world through the production of oils. So they will frequently not do things the easy way. They, you know, doing things, doing the right thing often is not the easiest way, and it's usually the hardest way. But doTERRA are passionate about not only bringing the purest essential oils to the world, but also blessing the most lives in the process. So many people's lives are impacted through the production of oils. And one of the ways that doTERRA does this is by working with cooperatives and supporting the formation of cooperatives, and intentionally working with lots of small scale farmers rather than having farms. Okay, so they're empowering lots of individuals and lots of families and communities. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. And if you're interested in that, you can Google Co-Impact Sourcing doTERRA. They also have a charity arm, which I won't go into now, but many very beautiful and worthwhile, heart-touching, heart-wrenching stories and projects. So again, if you're interested in that side, have a look at doTERRA Healing Hands Foundation. Okay, so moving on back to the oils. So 3 different ways that we can use oils. And so I'm going to start talking about some of the properties of oils now. So peppermint I'm going to talk about because we're going to be talking about aromatic use. So if you have any of your doTERRA oils with you tonight, if you have peppermint, great. Otherwise, any other oil will be fine. And what we're going to do, we're going to put a drop onto the palms of our hands. I like to tell people not to rub their fingers, avoid their fingers, because then you won't get oil in your hands later. So you rub and you cup your hands round your nose and your mouth. And you inhale, okay? Do that about 5 times. I'm going to carry on talking. 5 to 10 deep inhales to get the best effects. So why aromatic? Like if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram, type into the comments, why might we want to smell an oil rather than rub one on our bodies? Or with the doTERRA oils, some of them, as we've talked about, or taking them internally. Why would we choose to smell an oil? What benefit might it bring? I'm just going to give you a second. One thing you might think about when you're answering this question, I'm just going to have a look in the Facebook group to see if see who's answering, is it's a very quick way to get oils into the system. So if you think about it, when we smell an oil, like think about, I don't know if you've ever seen or been put in hospital and you've inhaled and been asked to count to 10. The person falls asleep before they even get to 5 normally. So it's basically a really good way, A, to get oils into the system quickly, and B, if we're wanting to impact our mind, our mood, our memory, our concentration, our focus, all the stuff basically that's happening in our brains. Okay, just going to get Instagram back 2 seconds, guys. There we go. So yeah, that's the reason it's quick, and it's really, really good for impacting our brain chemistry, our brain health. So the other thing we might do is we might put oil in a cold mist diffuser. So not a burner like I spoke about that I used to do. A cold mist diffuser is much more effective at gently dispersing the oil over a sustained amount of time. It can influence the mood in the room or the environment, but it can also be used, you decide as homemaker, like many of you here are mums or homemakers, and you get to decide what your family or what the people in your space need, whether it's immune support, whether it's rest, whether it's calming, whether it's joy. You can put the relevant oil in, and also it's useful for cleansing the airspace as well. So topical next. So does anybody know what topical means? So we've talked about aromatic being smelling the oil. Why might we do something topical, and why? Give me an example of an oil if you're not on Facebook and you can't see the slides. Otherwise, that would be cheating. Give me a different oil to the one that's on the slides that you might use topically, and why. So the oil I'm going to talk about for topical use is an oil called Deep Blue. Has anyone come across that? So Deep Blue is also known as the Soothing Blend, and when you smell it, it's a really familiar smell. It's the camphor in here. It smells just like other kind of muscle rub products and tiger balms and things like that. And this particular oil, it's designed for soothing muscles. In fact, I was gardening and I've got aching muscles in my strangely the backs of my hands. I think I must have been using muscles that I don't usually use. So I'm using a couple of drops of Deep Blue and a little bit of carrier oil, and I'm going to rub that into my into those muscles right now, and I'll let you know how I'm feeling a little bit later. So we might want to apply something topically. It means onto the skin, directly onto the skin, by the way, guys, because I want to target a particular area of the body, okay? So in this case, I wanted to target my hands. It could be some head tension that you're wanting to target, or some discomfort in your neck. Maybe you carry the day, you carry your emotions in your neck or your shoulders. So it's a great one to use when you get home from a busy day. And the question of carrier oil comes up. So with many of doTERRA's oils, you can use them neat if you choose, not all of them, but most of them. But actually, if you're using an oil for the first time, it's always good to use like a plain nut, vegetable or seed oil, which generically we refer to as a carrier oil. And doTERRA have this aroma-free coconut oil. It's really light and non-greasy, and there's no color to it either. It absorbs really fast. In fact, you can barely see a shine on my hands now, and I only applied the coconut oil a minute ago. So when you apply a carrier oil, you're minimizing skin sensitivity, but when we're using oils topically, what it actually does for us is it actually helps to hold the constituents in the oil in the local area for longer, which of course is what we want when we're applying topically. So for topical use, I usually recommend some carrier oil. The only exception is if I'm talking to an adult who's going to be applying oils to the soles of their feet. Now, this is a good way to get the oils all through the system. So if you wanted to support, say, the immune system or sleep or stressful feelings maybe, and you wanted to have the oils running through the system, soles of the feet is actually a really good place, because we have a really sort of large concentration of capillaries relatively close to the outside of the skin in our feet. Because it's quite tough, we normally don't need carrier oil. Okay, and then lastly, the third way that we can use an oil, as it says on the slides if you're watching on Facebook, only with certified pure tested grade oils, so ones that we 100% know are okay to take internally. Definitely do not, if you're watching this and you've got other brands at home, definitely do not go and start drinking those oils unless you're 100% sure that it's okay to do so, because of what we talked about a bit earlier on. But internal use is a gorgeous, lovely third option. So I drink citrus oils in my water. I've got citrus in this glass of water right now. I adore it. It makes me, they make me drink more water, because they actually now make my water interesting. There's health benefits, they're cleansing. They are known to, lift the mood, de-stress the body. So it's a win-win, and it's a really beautiful way to do it. You can also make up your own capsules with the oil internally, or put things, use them as food flavorings as well. In fact, essential oils have been used in food flavorings for years. Even Coca-Cola, chewing gum, things like that, they all have essential oils in them for flavoring. Alrighty, so let's move on. Aromatic use in oils. So just circling back to smelling oils, the way that they actually impact our brain chemistry is there is basically a direct connection at the back of our nose. It's called our olfactory receptor. It's kind of linked to the limbic system, which is a part of the brain that is responsible and controls mind, mood, memory, motivation, all the past trauma. It's the emotional center of our brain. So that's how. And as we talked about, diffusing is also diffusing, or what we did, or what I demonstrated with the peppermint oil earlier, is a really nice way too. We sometimes refer to that as a human diffuser. All right, so a bit of safety before we move on to the 10 oils, and I give you a few uses for each one. So we've talked about that they're gentle and without side effects. But what we want to do is we want to keep them out of orifices. So the reason I told you not to use your fingers when you're rubbing the oils is because we don't want to accidentally scratch our eyes later. never pour oils in your ears or up your nose or in any sensitive areas. And if you do, little trick for you, don't use water. I know that might be instinctive, but use an oil. Use your carrier oil, okay? Even if it's coconut oil or olive oil from your kitchen. It will disperse the oil and get rid of the sensation. Water, if you think about it, water and oil don't mix. The essential probably will go further into the tissues, and sometimes it feels like you're actually enhancing the effects when you try and wash it off with water. And the last thing to say, especially at the moment while we've got all this beautiful sunshine, is that citrus oils, you don't want to put them on the skin and go into the sun. So you can use them, but you want to have waited 12 hours. So for example, orange and lemon, they're both really nice oils to use on the face. They have different skin supporting properties. Lemon is good for skin brightening. Orange is good for lines and wrinkles. If you wanted to use them at night. And then by the time you're out in the sun the next day, 12 hours should have passed, and you know, you're good to go. And you can use your citrus oils in other ways, and go in the sun. It's just the internal use. Topical use. So have a think now, before we move on to talking about those 10 oils, about a couple of things that really would make the world of difference to how you're showing up in your life. If you could, 2 things that you want, that if you felt less of, your life would be transformed, and 2 things that if you could just feel a bit more of these 2 things, how much better the quality of your life or your family's life would be. So just have a think, maybe write them down if you've got a pen to hand. If you haven't, just hold them in your head. So a couple of things you'd like to feel less of, and a couple of things that you would so love to feel more of, okay? And now I'm going to be talking about some oils now, and see if you can tally them up to the things that you've talked about, okay? All right, so I've already mentioned that this kit of 10 oils can support 300 things in the home, or 85% of our health needs. And in this box, there's 6 single oils: lemon, lavender, peppermint, tea tree, oregano, and frankincense. And then there's 4 what we call blends, so still pure essential oils, 4 blends for different purposes. So there's a tummy blend, a respiratory blend, an immune blend, and a discomforts blend. And we're going to talk about them all now. So the first one is lemon. So if anybody uses lemon here, let me know what you use it for. Put it in the comments so we can all learn off each other. I would really love that. So lemon, for me, there's 3 main things that lemon does. Lemon cleanses the body inside and out, so surfaces. So I will put a drop in my water and I will use it to clean my kitchen, okay? Make up an all surface spray with water, vinegar, and lemon juice. And then the other thing I think of when I think of lemon is stress and mood, okay? So supports joyful feelings and also helps with stressful feelings, okay? So joy, stress, cleanser, inside and out, okay? I think that's a lovely sort of succinct way to talk about lemon. Lavender, okay? So again, please share in the comments, how do you use lavender? So I know that you've used lavender. I know you've used it because it's the most commonly bought oil in the whole world, okay? So the chances are that you've used lavender. How have you used it? Most common ways I hear people put it in the bath, or they put a drop on their pillow. So for me, lavender is basically jack of all trades. You know, it will do everything. Pretty much, there's not much that lavender won't do, but broadly, we all know it's calming. So it's calming to the mind. It's calming to the emotions and the mood. It's also calming to the body, because we can use it for sleep and so sleep support. Also, though, the other biggie with lavender oil is skin. So give me some ideas about how we could use it for skin. There are many. because it's a natural antihistamine. It's really useful in the summer, moving into summer at the time of recording this. Burns, bites, stings, all the things, but also beautifying. It does so much, and it's gorgeous internally. You can have it in chocolate and smoothies, lavender tea in the bath. Oh my goodness, just so many lovely things, but only 1 drop, guys, when you're using it in recipes, because it's floral oils, just they taste really intense, really lovely, but really intense. So just 1 drop, okay? So peppermint oil, we touched on it when we were talking about aromatic use. I mean, peppermint oil is just the most amazing oil for waking up. It's just amazing. And but many other things as well. So it's known to be a digestive support. I reckon everybody here probably knows that. Respiratory support, so good, clears the nose in an instant. We've talked about concentration and focus when we're smelling an oil, but peppermint oil is particularly good at this. And we also talked about tight muscles. We talked about that when we're talking about deep blue, but peppermint's actually in deep blue for that reason. And it's an interesting one because whilst it can be used for energy, it's also great for feeling calm. So it's kind of calming but energizing at the same time, which is beautiful, right? And my favorite thing to do with this, if you know me well, you know I love chocolate. I have this in my chocolate cereal every morning, my granola that I make, and I also put a drop in coffee. I know it sounds weird, but give it a try, okay? It's really super delish. All right, next one. Anybody have any idea what Melaleuca is? Melaleuca, I had no idea. I was at a class just like this 5 years ago, online, no idea, never heard of Melaleuca. However, you have heard of it because it's the 2nd most commonly purchased oil in the whole world. So it's tea tree, okay? So again, write in the comments, what do you do with tea tree? Let's have a look, see how we're getting on over in the Facebook group. I would love to know what you guys are doing with your tea tree oil. Please tell me. Please put it in the comments. Let other people know as well, because we can all learn off each other that way. So tea tree is first aid for the skin. All those kind of little knocks and scrapes. I kind of, in summary, would describe tea tree as supportive for skin, scalp, and hair. Okay. So think all those little skin imperfections that we can think of, and also things growing on our skin. This is an amazing first port of call. I pop it in our shampoo at home because I have young children, and it will act as a natural deterrent for nits. I love it. It's amazing. And soon when, my oldest starts to move into teen years, it would be amazing to support his skin as well. Okay. So just a really nice fresh oil. You can also incorporate it into green cleaning. Now, oregano. Now, this is a bit of a strange one, isn't it? Perhaps you would think this is a bit of an unlikely one to have included in a kind of a top 10 box. The reason is that this one packs a punch, okay? I like to think of this as like the oil I go to if nothing else is working and my family are sick. So I've tried everything else and I'm like, I literally don't know what to do. If I feel comfortable giving it a few more hours before I go to the doctor, perhaps, and consider antibiotics, I want to try my oregano. I will dilute it and apply it to my children's feet. If it's me, I'll pop a couple of drops in a vegetable capsule with a bit of olive oil. Some people like to do olive oil to disperse the essential oil a bit. And I'll do that every 4 hours. And I have done this and it has really supported and helped my family. I've seen oregano work. It's also amazing for digestive health and immune health in general. And as a food flavoring. So again, a bit like floral oils, oregano is really strong. So definitely 1 drop, but try it in like a soup or a stew or a salad dressing or hummus. It's really, really, really good. Let me know if you've used this, anybody, in food, and what you've done with it. Okay, so we're on to some of the blends now, and the first one we're going to talk about is On Guard. So you may or may not recognize this. However, if you don't recognize this, maybe you've heard of the Thieves blend that was something that was used in the plague. It was like a blend of oils, known for their supportive, protective, immune helping properties. And this is based on that blend. And this, oh my goodness, this is a powerhouse of oils. Okay, this oil during the pandemic, at one point last year, doTERRA had to restrict the purchase of this oil to 1 per account because it was just going out like hotcakes. Anyway, in winter, kind of winter and autumn, it's something that I'm using every week. A couple of times I'll diffuse it in my home, and it's supporting the family. It's supporting immune systems, and you can use it in all the ways. So depending on what resonates with you, topically, aromatically, internally. I love to use this in the kitchen, anywhere that you might use cinnamon. The cinnamon in here, it smells a little bit like, imagine the festive season, Christmas in a bottle. So orange, eucalyptus, cinnamon, clove, and rosemary is really, really lovely. So pancakes, apple juice, things like yogurts or smoothies, really, really good. Alrighty, what's next? Air. So let me know, guys, if there's any of these blends that you use at home and which one's your favorite. Love to hear what you're doing with it. So air is a respiratory blend. So it's the overriding smells to me are peppermint and eucalyptus, but we also have lemon and tea tree and cardamom and a leaf called Ravintsara in here. And it's really, really, really good for opening the airways, okay, and really allowing air in. So think of all those things where you might need that kind of support. Also seasonal things, which right now is, in the Northern Hemisphere, we're just finishing spring, moving into summer, so seasonal threats are high. This is your oil, guys. You have to try it. It's super amazing, and just really good at clearing and supporting the respiratory system, any discomfort in that area. Also good for sleep, so give it a go for that. It's just really, really beautiful. It's very fresh, opening and uplifting. You take this one either aromatically, smelling it, or putting it in a diffuser, or diluting it and putting it on your chest. Amazing for kids as well. Okay, so we've already touched on Deep Blue, but I'm just going to tell you what's in it. So you remember that this is the oil for tissue discomfort. So anything to do with the tissues, feeling weary, tired, joints, muscles, ligaments, all those good things. So perhaps we have a really active job, perhaps we do sport, perhaps we're just achy, this is the oil. You can put it in the bath with Epsom salts, really, really good. Or just do what I did a minute ago, where I put a bit of carrier oil and rubbed it into the local area. It also comes as a cream. So Deep Blue Rub, if you've ever come across this, is just this oil plus eucalyptus in a cream base. Okay, guys, that's Deep Blue. Almost there now, just 2 oils. So Zengest. Zengest is a digestive blend. And this one is quite spicy, but not the hot spices, more the kind of, the Ayurvedic kind of yummy spices. So I'll tell you what's in it first. It's got quite a kind of a licoricey, fennelly kind of taste to it. And if you love that, you can take it internally if you choose. If you hate the taste of licorice or fennel, then you might want to just dilute it and rub it on your tummy. Children, by the way, normally we don't give them oils internally regularly until they're kind of around puberty age. So in this particular blend, the Zengest blend, we have anise, ginger, peppermint, fennel, caraway seed, coriander seed, and tarragon. And they're all really, really good for supporting the digestive system. Anything, guys, think about everything from, swallowing your food, going into first your stomach, then leaving your stomach, going through the small and large intestine, and then out the other end. Anything, any issues that you might have, any temporary digestive issues, this guy is 100% worth a try. It's really, really helped myself, my family, and lots of my nutrition clients. I suggest this one all the time. Really, really great oil. And lastly, frankincense. So I love to save the king of oils, as it's known. Have you guys heard of it being referred to as the king of oils? It's a beautiful oil, and it has a long history of use: prayer, meditation, spiritual practices, skin, okay, brain health, and calming. So calm feelings. It does so much because the chemistry is particularly broad, which is why these particular 10 oils have been selected in these starter kits, because each one does many, many, many things, and not all essential oils do. So that's why they've been selected. I use this at night time. I like to rub it into my face. It's an anti-wrinkle oil, okay, but also it's supportive for sleep and also kind of getting you out of your busy head. I will also use it on the skin if my kids have any issues, knocks and things like that. It's also an amplifier and enhancer. So whatever you're using it in terms of whatever essential oils you're reaching for, if you incorporate frankincense, then you're enhancing the effects, which I also love. So yeah, I will leave that there, but there's so much I could say about frankincense, but you have to just try it and see for yourself. Before we finish, I'd like to just touch on a pack of 3 supplements that come together, and they are known as Long Life Vitality. I'm a nutritionist, as I mentioned at the beginning, so I know a little bit about supplements. And the reason I love these is because I notice the difference in how I feel when I use them. I shortly found out after I got started with my oils and doTERRA that the supplements that I'm talking about now, the Long Life Vitality Pack, are actually doTERRA's best-selling product. They're the thing that is bought the most often, which amazed me, given that, you know, doTERRA are known for their essential oils. So what I did is I went out and educated myself on these supplements, and I went and tried them, and I noticed the difference of how I feel and my energy levels when I'm on them versus when I'm not. And I think the reason they work so well compared to other supplements is because doTERRA have included 9 essential oils within them. And you know, earlier on in the class when I was talking about the cell and how when we have essential oils, some of them can get through the cell wall. It makes perfect sense to me, because we need our food to get through our cells, into our cells, to feel well, for them to have benefit, and we need our supplements to do the same. So it makes perfect sense to me that having essential oils in supplements is going to help us to reap the benefits. One thing I would say, if you're wondering why 3 packs, 3 bottles, they're designed to complement each other and be taken together. One is a multivitamin and mineral. The other is an omega-3, so your DHA, EPA, you can get a vegan or non-vegan version of that. And then the last one is a cellular complex, which we need for kind of longevity and healthy, good detoxification to keep our systems and our cells clean and pure. So yeah, check those out, guys. The Long Life Vitality, definitely worth looking at if you've never explored them. So just to finish then, I'm just checking we haven't had any comments in the group as we go through. I wanted to explain to you how you can get these oils if you're wanting to do so. So there's 3 different ways to get started. One is retail, which nobody needs to do because it's a much higher price. And it's more if you were going into like a clinic and they were selling oils on a shelf. When you get them through a wellness advocate such as myself, you can get them at what we call customer wholesale price. And this means you're getting the oils at 25% less than the retail price. So what you need to do is to get that facility, and it's also gives you membership to doTERRA and a lot of different perks that both I offer in my team, in my community, but also doTERRA offers. Normally it costs £24, and that kind of, think of it as like, you know, when you have your National Trust membership and you have your card, and then that card will give you access to other offers. So it's £24 in doTERRA, and then once you've got that, you have that for the year, and you can buy whatever you want at 25% under the retail price. Or even cheaper than that, is to get started with an actual collection, a kit, because when you get started with a kit, you automatically have that card, if you like, but you haven't got to pay £24. So it's just a slightly more cost-effective way of doing it if you get started with a collection. Okay, I'm going to explain to you the prices of the 2 or 3 most popular kits in a second, but before I do, just to say that, you know, the other thing that's important to understand is when you're getting started with doTERRA, there's 3 kind of groups of people. The majority of people that get started are customers, and about 90% of people that decide to get started want to just use the oils for themselves. We have really nice online educational programs which are free. We've put lots of time and love and effort into them because we're very passionate about you learning how to use your oils. There are a smaller number of people that are interested in sharing the oils with family and friends and earning a little bit of money on the side, just enough to cover a monthly order for themselves because they love their oils and they want to grow their collection. And in sharing the oils with family and friends, they generate just a little bit of pocket money to do that. And then the other group are people like myself who decided to either integrate it into an existing business or to start a brand new business sharing and teaching oils. And for those last 2 groups of people also, we have different programs that support you on that journey. So really good training and mentoring programs. So if that area interests you also, you know, do be sure to pop a comment below that you would like more information, or to direct message myself or whoever invited you to this particular webinar. So I said I'd share with you how much the kits are. So we already talked about, you either get your account for £24 and choose individual oils, or you get a kit and that membership is free. And also sometimes people are unclear about whether there's any obligation to buy again if they do get started, and there isn't. So you never have to get anything again unless you want to, and there's no obligation to do anything else like sharing or teaching or selling or monthly fees or anything like that. Okay, so the kits then, this particular kit is the 10 oils, and this is what we call the small bottle size. So each one of these bottles it has 85 drops in it, or 85 uses you could think of as well. And these 10 oils are £112, including the membership. So that is a really, really nice way to just kind of dip your toe in. You can kind of think of this as a kind of a taster kit. It will last you 6 months to a year, depending on how long you use it and how many people there are in your family. And then you get a kit, which is exactly the same 10 oils, so the same ones we've spoken about this evening, but in a larger bottle size. So a kit that has a bottle size 3 times the size of this for twice the price. So it's actually much better value, but they're still both good options depending on your budget. So the one that has same 10 oils, but the larger bottle size is £239. So it's just over twice the price, but you're actually getting 3 times the oil. Okay, and you also get a diffuser in the large kit as well. So it's a really good option. There is one other kit that I like to mention, which has 8 oils, 8 of the small bottle size oils. Some of them are in here and some of them aren't. And you get the ones that aren't are orange, and a grounding blend called Balance, and another kind of muscle blend called Aroma Touch. So you get those 3 in the Aroma Touch kit, as it's called, and some of the other oils in here that we spoke about this evening. And this one is a really nice option because this one you get carrier oil included, and you get a diffuser, and it's £151. So all those include your membership. doTERRA are, from time to time, they do offers or promotions, and we haven't had one for 2 or 3 months, but there is one, a June one, that we just got told about yesterday. So out of the 3 kits that I just mentioned, anybody getting the largest one of those, and there are larger ones still, I haven't mentioned those, I just kind of like to share the ones that most people get started with. But the Home Essentials kit, which was the large bottle kit for 239 with the diffuser, if you get that this month, you get a bundle of citrus oils. So you get 2 blends, one called Citrus Bliss and another called Citrus Bloom. Also a large lemon oil and a deodorant, a Citrus Bliss deodorant. And I calculated that those items would cost around £65 to £70 to buy. Citrus Bliss, in case you're wondering, is 7 citrus oils with vanilla. It's absolutely divine. I adore it. And Citrus Bloom is also divine. It's lavender, magnolia, grapefruit, orange. Yeah, one other, it might be lemon, but they're delicious, really gorgeous oils for the spring and summer. So all that I wanted to mention now was what the membership includes. So if you're not already a member and you're thinking that you might like to get started, that maybe now's your time, or maybe you already have oils and you missed the perks that you get, you do get a one-to-one session with whoever invited you to this webinar. Once you have received your oils, we take you through them and we get you feeling confident using them. So that's the first thing. We normally give you some kind of welcome gift, which will include a booklet of how, so you can look up ailments and symptoms and get using your oils straight away. Normally there's a rollerball in there so you can have a go making your first rollerball, a few little samples, things like that. And also access to the online education programs that I mentioned earlier on. The first one actually covers these 10 oils, and we spend 1 day per oil guiding you through with live video coaching on how to use them. So by the end of that, you are good to go. You're an oil expert by then. So yeah, that was it, guys. That was the class. I hope it's been of use. Just checking for any messages or comments on the Facebook group. I think you guys have been answering each other, which is lovely. Thank you for that. And that was it. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening. It's been really nice to be with you all this evening. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again soon.